Welcome, everybody, to the Empowering Process podcast. And with me today, I have Jenn Martinez. Jenn Martinez is a co owner of Happy Lion Center. And she is going to talk to us, or we're going to share conversations around connecting with the universe and knowing that she is God. You are God, and about being in flow. Who knows where this conversation will go? I am so excited to introduce to you Jenn Martinez. Welcome, Jenn. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
It's so good to have you here. I am telling you, I don't know where this conversation will go. I'm super excited about talking to you about discovering that you are God, and we all are, by the way. This is who we are, and what that experience was like for you, and what living so connected is like.
Yeah, so my journey really, I kept myself in a box. So feeling that light kind of come through and disrupt what was in my box was amazing because at first, of course, we're human. We want everything structured, but I'm the type of person that allows that, I just kind of always been that person to go with the flow. And I've kind of felt that journey, and it never was a perfect journey. Let me tell you, I've had my trials and errors, and I was like, oh, I've got this. Oh, no, I don't. So, really, just melting and feeling that integration of that source energy of the unconditional love. It wasn't just love, it's unconditional. It didn't want me to be any particular way. So, just really melting into it, feeling that connection for me, it was just like a light switch. I really just really
you
loved it.
know so I wrote down disrupt, unconditional love, and I want to touch a little bit on the concept of love from this perspective and from my experience. um it's not the love that I believed as a third dimensional human being love was supposed to be. It really, for me, is such a sense of peace. So it's almost like I couldn't breathe until I got to this point. I really didn't know what expansion was. I really didn't know what breath was. I didn't really know what life was until I stopped the egoic search and just allow. And so let's talk a little bit about that drive, that search that we all have to go and find the perfect match, to find the perfect whatever. What was that like for you, and when did that finally change?
Yeah, so I didn't really grow up with any kind of love. I kind of actually came from poverty and always just surviving. So I didn't really actually understand love because it just wasn't really there. So I actually had a desire of love. What was it? What is it like to really be loved? And so, just my journey on that part of love, I actually did start to go within. And before I even knew what was that it was even a thing to go within. And I started to feel these layers come off of me. And this, you are enough. You are enough. You don't have to grow. There isn't all these things you need to add to you to make you love yourself, to make you, that's what we're all, I feel, searching so deep, so hard. This love we all desire for our own selves. And we
Right.
just give, and never take. You know what I mean? There's just so much giving once you get to this point where you just radiate it, but also you have to, there's law of attraction. You need to take it back in too as well and fill that cup inside. That's yeah, that's the special part of it all, the transformation, the I'm enough, the judgment of self too, that we're never enough, that we've done bad things, that we've ridiculed others. So just knowing you're enough, knowing that you're worthy. I
Yeah.
think that's
And
the biggest.
for me, I had so many layers to peel back on. And and the root for me, when I finally got to the root, was that of abandonment, right? And
Mhm.
one that I didn't face for a long time. I literally was told, you have abandonment issues, and I laughed in that person's face, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Guys, my mom died when I was 3.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So, definitely abandonment issues, but I didn't recognize it because I had built such a solid brick wall around me. Right. And so as I started to take the brick, and I call it taking the bricks down one brick at a time, and I could peek over the wall, that final brick was the abandonment one. And what I've come to realize is even the root of that is worthiness, right?
Exactly.
Every time we're punished as a child, we're told we're not good enough. Every time we're corrected and redirected, we're told we're not good enough, right? And so that not good enough really gets anchored in, right? And when I finally got to the point where I could shed that, that's where I like the light in your background. The light came through. It's perfect, right?
It's perfect.
Right, right. So talk to me about um, the light coming through and your decision to do the kind of work that you're doing now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing. And exactly, abandonment was something very similar as well. My parents divorced, my mom working 4 jobs, siblings, me having to help my mom raise them. What does that even mean? I mean, when you're a kid, we get handed a lot of heavy things. How do you come out of all of that? Feeling, breaking down that wall, really starting to love yourself, really starting to realize what am I radiating and out into the world? And so just finding that peace that we're all seeking this like calmness inside, this connection to the heavens, to the earth. And watching those barriers break down, not even just break down, dissolve, fade away, never come back. We've learned a lesson. We've learned how to weave ourselves through what it's like to be human and not to hold on to what maybe happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And if those things start to kind of surface, those things aren't quite dissolved. And they're just lessons. And how would you take in a lesson? And what is it like taking in a lesson and actually learning it and actually coming out of it with love, with like unconditional love and just no judgment and always allowing.
For one of the things that I would love to emphasize is this whole concept of spirituality is not a miracle, and it's not unattainable, and it's not woo woo. It is who we are, right? I'm trying to move away from that word of spirituality and magic and miracles because it is exactly our human design,
Yeah,
right? But we've
right.
we've grown up in a world that, initially our forefathers just needed to survive the harshness of this earth, right? And in doing that, needing to live in community, and doing that, creating structures in order to manage the community, and managing the community change to controlling the community, and controlling the community change to manipulating and lying to the community, right?
Right.
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 And so, in a nutshell, that's kind of how I grew up, in an era of manipulation and management and control,
Yep.
and letting go of my own control, feeling safe enough for me to say, I don't have to determine the outcome of this. I don't even have to envision the outcome to this. I don't have to have a goddamn goal. I don't have to be driven for anything. And I believe me, type A personality, goal setter, the whole 9 yards, right? I don't have to do that. giving myself permission to kind of let it all go and see that, hey, the world didn't fall apart. And in fact, I created space for some amazing things to come through. And so when I talk about of the awakening, which is what's happening right now, which is happening faster and faster and faster every single day. It is the shedding of the old stories, the death of the old stories. So a lot of people, my clients now that are coming to me now are in a state of goddamn panic because they can't get out of what's called the dark night of the soul. Right? Because the old tools, the old lies, don't work. And I usually start the conversation with, you're not broken. You don't have an old story. You don't have a wound. You don't have to be fixed. You're not psychotic, and you're not, I mean, seriously, oh, I think I have a head injury, or I have I have a family history, I have a genetic history. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't know. And they're like, what do you mean? We're not starting from that place.
Love it.
You're whole, right? And it's what's happening is there's a death, the death of you, and the ego is panicking and holding on to the old story. And the you that's trying to evolve and to come out is being blocked. And so there's a battle, and the you trying to come out does not want to fight. Right? There is no fight, but it's getting louder and louder. And so you've got louder chaos, right? And what I'm watching, and I'm so blessed to get to experience this, and I want to hear some of the stories that you have for your clients. What I get to see is there's like a crescendo that goes on, right? And literally maybe 3 weeks into sessions with me, they're calling me going, I didn't sleep last night, right? And I'm like, good.
Absolutely.
Right, good.
Yes.
Let it go, right?
It's getting in there.
Right? And then around week 4 or 5, I see the, oh, right. And I will say, I don't know who you're going to become, because it's you, not me, but I can certainly help you peel the curtains back. Right.
That's right.
And let the light in. Right.
Let the light in.
One client just recently, and I love this because I started doing it myself. I had her do some body talk. And so is it, spiritual? Is it physical? Is it emotional? Is it right? Ask a bunch of, and her body's going, no. I said, is it outside you? Yes. Is it your aura? Yes. So, okay. I want you to take your spirit guides and give them a job. So Windex and clean the window. Right. And so that night I'm like, maybe I could do some window cleaning to let in the light.
Love it.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
So what are some of the things that you're seeing?
Beautiful. I'm actually very well, like exactly same stories, exactly same process. I'm getting people who are like, oh, what is this? And then they're like, I want to do it. And then all sorts of things start crumbling down in their lives. They're like, oh my goodness, I can't handle, my mind's too clogged. I have this thought for today at 5, that thought for tomorrow at 7. And they're just piling it on. And I'm like, breathe. And they're like, breathe? I'm breathing. And I'm like, breathe. Like you really have to overpower those moments. Those moments are trying to reinforce themselves. They're just trying to just say, hey, wait a minute, don't leave me behind. No, you can't evolve. Then what happens to me?
Right. Oh, you mean I'm actually history? I like to use the example of, in the story, The Christmas Carol, Marley, the ghost, shows up with all these chains and luggage. Right. And what a beautiful analogy to how we go through life. Right. And what's happening is the luggage is becoming undone, and screaming as it goes down the hill.
Yep.
Right. And the you that's emerging is trying to get those chains off to let the luggage go. And you walk through life. This is the peace, right? This is the breath.
Yes.
This is the
Yes.
expansion
Mm-hmm.
that we can feel. And things like, so I'm going to go there to the LA fires. I'm going to go there, which is, to me is the first major event, and there's many of them happening in 2025 to re-alchemize.
Right.
And I worked with a bunch of healers last week, and we did a meditation, went to LA, and we brought the souls of the animals that died. And we cleansed them and healed them, gave them food and water, and helped them move on. Right? People forget there were horses, there were dogs, there were cats. I saw cockroaches, I saw snakes, right? All kinds of animals coming up, helping them move on. And what's interesting, so I'm a dragon rider. And one of the woman who was running the meditation said, and the dragon showed up. And I'm like, of course I did.
I love it.
Right. And so my
Very.
dragon was flying around and picking up animals that couldn't make it, helping them. It was, and then we healed the earth. So LA has been cleansed and has an opportunity now to reemerge different.
Yeah. I feel that I'm very all about feelings, and I'm feeling that cleanse.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It needed it. Wow. And when we're collectively together, wow, you're so powerful by yourself, but then as a group, whoa, the radiation, the energy is just absolutely incredible. And when we set our intentions and we really connect, what a beautiful thing, especially for the animals. I mean, they had no voice, and I can hear them just say that we did this for you guys. We love you so much. We did this for you. We gave our lives for you. We're here for you. And how are we responding to all of this right now? With compassion or with rage, So it's really like right now, super vulnerable for us to really come with love, unconditional love, compassion for others. And really, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and there's so much fear. So we have this is choice, and whether or not you lean into free will or primal will. Okay, because that's the two voices going on in your head, and free will is ego and fear-based, because ego's job is to keep you safe. So ego is looking out for the problem. That's its job. So it will make up problems if there's not any, because then it doesn't have a job. Right. So we have to let ego know it's not going to get fired. Right.
You gotta, yes.
Right.
You gotta kind of stroke it a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing your job. That's not I have nothing to be afraid of here. And primal will, there is nothing but love and an opportunity. Right. And that's God love. And that is what I was projecting anyway when we were doing that healing. And those that I've spoken to have either had fear and anguish over what has happened and misunderstanding, full of lies and confusion, or hope and opportunity, right, over what's happened. So
exactly,
is it a terrible thing? There were a lot of human souls we brought along too, by the way, that showed up, and more than what's being told. They'll be finding more bodies as they go along. And so we helped whatever soul showed up, we helped along as well. And it's this third dimensional life that is confusing us.
It's a thick illusion, very much so, and separation. And what are we learning from it all? What are we integrating into our daily lives and our personalities and what we take in from this? Just like you said, there is that negative, there is that positive. Can we even pull back further and be completely neutral of the situation and not have any kind of judgment? How powerful is that, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, so, so how did you get into this?
Um, I just absolutely was just in my corporate life living in this box. And all of a sudden, the light kind of came through. And before I knew it, I kind of woke up just wanting to know more. And someone said something about past lives. And I was like, past lives? That can't possibly be.
Oh, good. Let's go there.
So yeah, I laugh now because it's just so funny. I'm like, oh, funny. To be 10 years in and look back, it is pretty funny. But I went through just trying to see what hypnosis was. I love hypnosis. It's just fun that we can calm that ego down, and it's like changing the channel on the radio. I don't want to listen to country. I want to listen to whatever, rock, whatever,
Yeah.
and change it. And you've got this beautiful divine connection that tells you all, that knows all, that is all. And wow, to be connected that way, I think for me, it blew my mind. It blew being in this box, it just blew it away. And before I knew it, I was in the ocean. Just I'm swimming in the universe. Here I am. Take me around, see what this is. I guess I've always been like that type of person going with the flow, very optimistic. I've always been an optimistic person.
Hmm.
My survival skill, I'm always going to be okay. I'm always going to make it. So that part was really nice that I wasn't in this life born into religion or in a particular way. I was just more free. Here I am. I'm out here. But also poverty was in my life, abuse, judgment, ridicule. A lot of those things were in my life. What did I learn from it? That it wasn't necessary, that it was just an illusion, that it was just trying to drown me as I was trying to find myself. And so I was playing tug of war with myself,
Hmm.
back, forth. And that's why I say that it wasn't a smooth journey, but it was a fun journey. As now I look back, I'm like, okay. I'm like, that was a lot of fun in those moments. And sure, painful, cried, got it out, but how light I felt afterwards, there was just this peace that I had after hypnosis, after really, and before I knew it, all my gifts started to come. I became a Reiki master. I now am a channel for Akashic Records. So those gifts just naturally came to me as I took other layers of myself off, stop judging myself,
Hmm.
stop ridiculing myself, stop telling myself I wasn't good enough. Those were that old talk that was saying, you're never going to be good at that. You're not as great as those people. You're not as worthy as those people. So there was a lot of that. And I know we all really have that in our mind, just that battle. We're trying to find our ways. How do we get through it? And I guess I've just always been very imaginative. And so I've always had that openness to my mind, and I would always see myself come out of it no matter what. Even if it felt like I was suffocating, I still always saw myself come out of it. And now where I'm at now, as I'm always growing, I'm always learning. There's always more. So,
And there's always more, I want to touch a little bit on the tears and the suffering. Because for my experience has been, I have actually had clients say, I can't go through with this because I'm not ready to face the pain. And the pain you're in is worse than the pain you'll have going through releasing the pain.
I was going to say
I
that.
can say that. That doesn't mean that you can understand that. There is a difference in the tears because you're in pain and you're guilty and you're confused and you're in chaos, and the tears of release. There is a difference. And yes, you have to go through it to come out of it. But going through it with someone like Jenn, with someone like me, it happens faster, right? And you're not alone. I can't say that the pain is less because I don't know that, right? But it does happen faster. So the pain isn't elongated. Yeah. But you have to go through it.
I say that. Yep. Nope. You really do have to go through it to get through it. Absolutely. Someone couldn't tell you one journey or another for you to understand exactly that integration, what you get out of it. Um, but it doesn't mean you're not deserving of it. Doesn't mean you're not worthy of it. And you're exactly right with that pain. When it's already there and it's got your tears, that's going to be your very, yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's it. It's right there at the top saying, okay, I'm ready to be transmuted. I'm ready to be released. And watching it go into the universe, be dissolved, and thanking that emotion, thanking that energy that now you are where you are versus where you were. And that can give you that concept of growth, I guess. That's really the neat part if you want to use it like that. Some of us do, some of us don't. That's the beauty of being the human. You're part of the heavens, you're part of the earth. That's the beauty of it. We're all a little different, but obviously we're the same.
We're the same, but different.
Right.
I'm actually right in the middle of writing a post around being told to be happy. I have a friend who, I mean, she's, fantastic, but she did a live the other day, and it was about, putting on a happy face, and I wanted to punch her in the face. It's like, give me permission to feel my feels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agree.
And here's why. When people hear be happy, then what I hear, so I don't want to say, right, I don't want to judge for you, but what I hear is, Gail, you don't have permission to feel that feeling. That feeling is not real. That feeling is not validated. Right. And I think, how dare you not validate my pain? Right. And so, and this is, I'm not in that space anymore, guys. I'm just telling, this is what I've experienced, and I know that others are experiencing it too.
That's great. Yeah.
And so my anger means I don't get to transmute that pain. Right. And so the article is really about what I mean when I say feel the feels. It's not self-pity. I don't want you to go down the pity. You can have a pity party for 30 seconds. Right. And then it's time to, your feelings are telling you something. Right. And so let's investigate what it's trying to tell you. And let's go there.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's go there and I want to go there in this moment, not when you were 5 years old. Right now, something happened that reminded you of that, but it's the something that's happening now, because when we start focusing on the now, we leave the 5-year-old in the 5-year-old past.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we practice being in the now. Right. And so talk to me a little bit about how you use, because I've done, past life regressions, for getting to the root and dissolving the root. I've done Akashic records healing to go to past lives and pull out the records and the things that you're carrying with you. So I've done kind of that stuff. So how do you use this to help people shed that luggage and be in the now?
Yes. So that's what I love about these techniques. So I love to talk to that person because, again, we're all a little different. How are we processing it? What are we holding on to? What is getting conflicted in our trying to get through that process. So I love talking to people for that reason. I can kind of see where they're at. What's their mindset? Is there some really good solid walls there? Okay, well, maybe I need hypnosis. Really, they're all about the same kind of technique. They're all bridging to another time so that you can help yourself in the moment of time. And so really, what does that look like? Are you healing this part in this moment? What's surfacing? Rejection, ridicule, judgment, those really deep, heavy emotions. So what's being presented in your life for patterns? What is your life like? How are you? Tell me about you. Um, and then knowing how to navigate through using the energy, all of its energy. So just loving it more, appreciating it's there. And so I feel like navigating through my three techniques that I can really kind of hone into your personality, how you are in your daily life. Maybe you only just need a few messages to get you through, or maybe it's you who give yourself that message. So um, really it's just clearing that out, loving that emotion. And for you, what is it like? What do you like? What draws your attention to the healing? Because I really feel like it's not me that is going to give you that healing. I'm just guiding you to the healing. So what are
Oh,
you attracted to?
let's
Mhm.
talk about the advantage of healing,
Love it.
and why even bother. So, for me, uh, my first initial, I would guess, purpose was to not feel the pain anymore, right? Move away from the pain. But what ended up happening, instead of moving away from the pain, I started moving towards, and let's call it God. I call it the universe or source. Um, so I no longer was moving away from, but moving towards something that was calling me. And
Mhm.
when I work with clients, I literally have no idea what is going to come out of my mouth during those sessions. And 100% of the time I get, funny you brought that up. And I say, it's not funny at all.
Right.
Right.
To
Right.
be.
So
Mhm.
talk to me a little bit about your experience connected to God. Because you mentioned that you know that you are God, you are source, right? We all are a piece
Mhm.
of the pie, if you will.
Yeah.
And what is that for you in your daily basis, your daily life?
Oh goodness. Yeah, no, mine was, oh, it's infinite. When I really actually connected, I realized I felt all. I felt the feeling that is so peaceful that you so desire, as we all do, so peacefully desire this connection to the source, that freedom, where everything kind of melts away. And when I did that, I realized I was galactically connected. And so before I knew it, I started to see, and he gave me that gift of seeing. So my third eye is clear. I can see. It just came to me. And when I did that, I realized the illusion of the body. I realized the illusion that was happening. I saw the matrix. I saw the energy, and I saw what was still attached to me: emotions, ridicule, judgment. So I started to see these, but also being in that source energy, knowing I was God, that these things don't bound me. These things don't hold me down anymore. Coming through them as realizing, okay, that's there and that's there for me to learn from, and that's there for me to learn from. And all the people around me as well, the ones who I have in my daily life. I'm realizing the whole process of all of it. It's just starting to lighten up for me, like my connections to who's here and who has left. Um, I'm very compassionate of a person, so I don't always like that feeling of when people leave. I'm like, okay, that's a really strong separation illusion of feeling separate, of that I'm not going to see them anymore. But I laugh at myself because I become too serious in that aspect. Because then they're there, they're in my mind, they're in my dreams. And what even is this? A dream? My
Mm-hmm.
mind is creating a dream. And so then I have more sense of pulling myself back, becoming the observer, really loving the fact that I'm here, that I can do whatever it is I need to do and enjoy my day and what does that bring me and who does that bring me? So it's just going into it like that with that energy.
It is kind of interesting. Um, I have in my book Lessons from Hell, I have a chapter where I actually merge and commune with the universe. You
Mm.
know, my conversation is, I don't want to turn to you for help anymore. I don't want to ask you for guidance anymore. I don't want to turn to you in a moment of need. I want you to come here. I want you to be with me. I want you to play with me. I want you to laugh with me. I want you to sit at the computer with me and let's just enjoy the day. I want you in my life all of the time. Right. And the universe, God, whatever you want, Allah, whatever you want to call it, is in your life all the time because it is who we are.
Right.
Right. Um, but saying that and experiencing it, I mean, I was in tears when I was holding that conversation because it was such a sense of me opening up my heart to let what's always been there emerge and show itself, not come in. It's always there. You know, what we don't see, it there's more on this earth that we don't see because our eyes are limited. There is more on this earth, folks, right? And when we are open to sensing it and feeling it, you know, last night when I went to bed, I literally, my cat has passed away. I literally felt him on my feet, like kneading and trying to get comfortable. And I'm like, it's relax, relax. And then I'm like,
Right.
if you don't settle down, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Right. Right. It's so true.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Um, and so, you know, does the spirit pass on? I think it does, but it's that golden cord to the earth. It can come back at any time that we
Absolutely.
want it back here.
Yes.
Um, you know, we call in the angels
Mhm.
and they show the second we call it. Again, in that book, I call in Michael
Yep.
and I say, you call the angels that I need right now. I don't know who I need. You call the angels down that I need right now. So I don't ask Michael to do it. I ask him to call the troops in.
I love it. I
Because he
love it.
uses a sword and I'm not into
He
swords.
does. He and it's instantaneously. He's here for us
Yes.
always, and
Yes.
they're here for us, and the other archangels are here for us in a split second. It's
Yep.
as fast as we want them to be there for us.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
I have a dear friend who, I mean, she wrote a book years ago about when she realized the angels were in her life and she would hold conversations. And she tells a story about driving and Michael is next to her and she goes, so Mike, right? And then she apologized for calling him Mike, right? And he's like, you can call me whatever you want. She was that comfortable having a conversation with him.
Yep. Oh, I love it. That's so great. And that's where we all eventually will be. We'll be talking to the other side so comfortably. All right, now what, you guys? Let's go.
Right.
What do we have to do?
And
Yeah.
maybe even talking to ourselves. I know that I'm at the point now where if I'm working with someone who is also clear and spiritually connected and working towards being more and more, we're on the same page all the time. And I'll give you like this crazy example. I do a collaboration with this woman. And so every once in a while, we do an event together. And the other last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know, we had one and it was snowing. And I had an hour drive in the snow and she had an hour drive in the snow. So I get in my car and I'm like, okay, I want to call her. So I'm futzing around to get my phone connected, right? So that I can do a hands-free call. And who calls? But her. Just
Of
as I'm
course.
ready to call, the phone rings. I went, of course. That is how connected we are all of the time,
That's
right?
incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to get to that point where, well, I need to hear from you and the phone rings,
Yep.
or I need to hear from you and they show up,
That's right.
or I'm wondering how you are and you get a text, things are cool,
Yep.
right? Just,
That's,
yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
That's the beauty of knowing you're connected, knowing that there's just this beautiful divine connection that we actually all have with each other. We're collectively still consciously one, even though we're individual, we're still able
yeah.
to have
I,
that beautiful connection.
Einstein called it spooky happenings at a distance because he couldn't explain it, right? And he tried, believe me, he tried to explain it, but it's confirmation that even our thoughts are energy, and that the energy of our thoughts, there is no time and space. It's fourth dimension. There's no time and space in the fourth dimension.
Yep.
Our dreams are in the fourth dimension,
Mhm.
or the fifth or more, but definitely fourth. And in that dimension, when you do meditation, that's where you're bringing people, fourth and fifth dimension, right? Where there is no time and space, you can go anywhere. And we do that in our thoughts,
That's right.
right? When I talk to you about what I'm planning for tomorrow, and I'm going to cook a dinner that I cooked 3 weeks ago, I am floating time and space.
Mhm.
I am visualizing what's and remembering and projecting, right? Um, and it can be confusing for
It
some.
can be.
It can
Yeah.
be confusing for some. So what's been happening to you lately? I'll share some of the things that have been happening to me lately because of, excuse me, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna hang up. There
Yes.
we go.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So what are some of
Um,
the things?
well, and what I'm noticing for me is disruptions of other, just LA fire and the Maui fire and the hurricane. I'm starting to watch Mother Gaia. I'm starting to pay attention as the observer, as okay, we're going out of the old earth, we're going into this new earth as our conscious. But just like you said, there is no time and space. That's the illusion. So, what really is this? You're just floating consciously to the next, but all in the moment of time. So, also I'm realizing the energy, that 3D energy, not wanting to get left behind energy. So I am seeing the ones around me who don't meditate, who don't take in that beautiful source energy, where they're just kind of in a rut, negative. This is happening, sadness. No, you should feel bad and you should be angry, and so there is some energies I'm noticing, not that I'm getting caught up in them, but that I'm just observing that they're still there, that they're still trying to reel you in.
Oh, I went to lunch the other day with someone who I haven't seen in, I would say, a good 15 years,
Mhm.
right? And as soon as she sat down, because I got the table, she came in, she starts with, and I'm not going to even say what she said, but it was negative, negative, negative. So at first I tried to divert it with some positive stuff, and that wasn't working. So finally I said, this is not the conversation I want to have. So you can stop right now. I don't want to hear this. It's not my energy or where I come from. So if we can have a nice lunch and you can stop right now, or we can stop lunch. So she stopped.
Um, yeah, and I feel like people don't really want to do the negative, but the energy is so strong for them, and when they don't have this connection that we have naturally, just that beautiful energy, it's hard. But when you really say that and keep it beautiful and peaceful, the person's like, wow, yeah, you're right. I don't want to be negative
We had
most
a
of the
great lunch. Yeah.
time,
Yep.
right?
Great
Yeah, you can
conversation. Yep.
really turn it. Yep, you are
Yep.
right.
Right.
That's the
But
beauty.
the point being is in the past, I probably would have maybe not participated in the conversation, but allowed the conversation to go on. But last year, I would say about a year, maybe, yes, about a year ago, was when I was like, absolutely, I don't even have to listen to the conversation. I'll share another with you, and then we wrap this up. So my ex, I left a man that I love, but it was someone that I just couldn't live with anymore. Very negative. Again, the world is, in a mess. So my grandson had a grandparents' day. We're both staying at my son's house, and he starts about the negative, the negative, the negative. The world is falling apart, blah, 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 blah. And so he was done. And I said, do you want to know something? There's also music in the world, and there's art in the world, and there's dancing in the world, and there's sunshine in the world, and there's love in the world. And I went on and on and on. And then I said, that's the world that I choose to live in. You can choose to live in yours. And that was the end. The rest of the time, when I was there for a week, the negativity didn't come.
Mm-hmm.
No. And
Oh, I
so
love it.
hold your space. And
Right.
you can say to someone, and I gave him permission to live in his world. I'm not dragging you into mine, but I'm telling you,
Right.
that's not my world. And yes, those things are going on, but so are these things going on. So
Oh,
where
I
do you
love it.
want to focus your energy
Right.
and your time?
Oh, I love it. That's
Right.
exactly it. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
Hmm. Yep.
So, Jenn, talk a little bit about the company that you have and how people can get in touch with you.
Yes. So I am with Happy Lion Center, and you can get in touch with me just by emailing me or going to my website. So Jenn, Jenn at happylioncenter.com, and or just go to happylioncenter.com, and I have a platform, I have a podcast. So just helping you through those little moments of you're not enough, but that's all they are, is just split seconds of this. So you are enough, you're worthy of it. And I just have love and compassion for you. So
Awesome. Thank you so much for your
thank
time,
you.
Jenn. And
That was
thank you,
lovely.
everybody, for listening to the Empowering Process podcast. If this interests you and you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'll get back to you. If you know someone who could benefit, please do share it out. And as always, do subscribe so you know when the next episode is available. Thank you so much, Jenn.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Empowering Process podcast. Be sure to visit Gail at gailcraft.com to learn more about how she serves thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and goal seekers. And remember, if you like this broadcast, be sure to share and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.